Ladies and boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, your boy is back from vacation. Now we are fully back, locked in. And wow, let me tell you something, right? I haven't really been looking at XCN the last few days, but man, we broke structure and things look good. Now we will dissect this, right? We will dive into the analysis in just a second. But man, you know me, I did start to cover this coin more often. I am super, super high on this project, and I do believe it will do well this cycle, right? In terms of price prediction, ladies and gentlemen, for this coin, right, there are multiple points, but for me, this is one of those coins where we talk about, and I'm like, you know what? We can most definitely hit something like 10 billion market cap, right? Which is not even that crazy, which is not even that crazy for a coin like this. And here's the deal, right? We're looking at this coin when it was like a 350 million market cap, right? It was lower. It was lower by a good amount, 15 to 10, that 10, 15% does go a long way. So I guess it wasn't 300 million. It was more like 450, 400, 450 million. But we were saying that, hey, this coin should be hitting that 10 billion market cap, in my opinion. And that is like the bare minimum, right? That is like the bare minimum in my head personally. So I was like, yeah, this for me just seems like a 20 to 30x coin. And man, let me tell you, the price action I see as of right now is very, very nice. Now, in our previous videos, we did say that there were two main zones we are looking for, right? Number one, off of here, and then number two, lower. Okay. So the reason why we gave these two zones, which is number one, right? We initially expected a pullback here, right? Roughly to 1.2 cents. The reason why is because when this exploded, right? When it exploded and it pulled back, it didn't pull back all the way, right? It pulled back 88% and it still left some imbalance. Okay. Imbalance, ladies and gentlemen, is practically when there's a lack of support and resistance. And there, it just kind of leaves like this, not residue in the market, but the market makers usually like to fill it up. Okay. Without getting too technical right now. So then we can see we had something similar again where we pumped up heavy, and we start to sell off. Okay, so now if we take it from the top here to our current bottom, we didn't necessarily go down the 88%, but we did go down almost 78. And we're talking about how, this, right, if we actually remove everything, this over here could very well be the imbalance that doesn't get filled, just the same way this imbalance down here didn't get filled, right? We talked about that. Now, here's the deal, right? We will dive into the specifics of how the price action looks right now, right? Right now, and if this is going to be the literal bottom or if this is simply something like this, right? Where we just kind of go like this. We go a little bit higher, but ultimately we just go lower. All right, we will discuss this. So, but look, right? As of right now, we are kind of doing the same exact thing where we filled up all of this imbalance on the left side down to like 1.2 cents, and then we start recovering. Okay, and then we start recovering. Now, I will say, of course, I can automatically see in terms of the movement, right? It doesn't seem like it's the exact same as down here where we just burst up, and down here where we just burst up, right? It is more methodical and slow, right? More methodical and slow. Which just off the top of my head, which is not confirmation, by the way, just makes me think that we could very well go up a little bit higher to then slam lower. But that is more up to Bitcoin than necessarily this coin. We can see though, ladies and gentlemen, on the weekly, the last few weeks we have been selling off, right? As of right now, we are under a big resistance. So we have to keep this in mind, right? Because us pulling up doesn't mean, oh, this is it, right? This is the reversal 100%. You know, it doesn't hurt to dollar cost average at 1.2, like we said, right? Because even if you bought at 1.2 and it goes down to maybe 1 cent or 0.90, you're still going to be getting very, very great buys. Still very, very great buys. Now, here's the thing that I noticed about this coin, okay? We are consistently creating higher lows on the higher time frame. So when we look, we have these bottoms, we have these bottoms, and as of right now, we have these bottoms, right? This is still not set in stone because we could still technically go down even here to roughly a cent or a little bit lower, and it would still validate, it would still be valid. But it's nice to see that we are consistently creating higher and higher lows as of right now. Now, on the other side, though, we are kind of creating lower and lower highs. You could debate that this high over here is higher than this high, right? You could very well debate. But overall, it does look like, you know, we are getting sandwiched in a little bit, which means for me, this coin, XCN, has to make a decision sooner than later to, you know, choose its side. Now, when we go on something like the 3-month candle, right? 3-month candle looks fairly weak, to be honest, right? The last 3-month candles look very, very weak. In fact, this pairs structure doesn't look pretty at all, but it doesn't mean that, you know, this coin won't pump, okay? Just in terms of pure technical analysis, right? It just looks like a big rejection off the 3-month, but like we know, this is not necessarily the coin's fault for having this type of structure, because the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that, you know, we know the markets have been weaker and selling off in the last few months, right? We also know that we are tapping into a monthly order block down over here. So I do expect some type of reversals personally, based off of this structure, right? We could see July a little bit slow. We did talk about how we need more confirmation on something like Bitcoin to know if we're going to be having a sideways and slow summer or if we are going to be exploding. But as of right now, you know, tapping into this monthly order block is looking beautiful, right? Which is exactly why we saw a spike. Now, on the daily and everything, we broke our structure, right? We were consistently creating lower and lower highs, right? Boom, 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 right? Consistent lower highs, right? Take away the wicks just so people can see, right? High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then we broke up, right? We had nice momentum. Okay. So, right, this is a market structure shift. As of right now, ladies and gentlemen, there's zero confirmation that we will be going lower, right? That we will be going lower. The next thing we will monitor is, you know, are we going to close lower than 0. You know, like 1.6 cents practically, right? Because if we do start closing lower and lower, and let's say lower on the 4-hour, then this very well could just be something like this. Okay, so we are going to monitor it as of right now. As of right now, it is looking very, very good, right? Let's just say we are going to continue to be bullish. Well, where would we go, right? The next big zone I would see personally is upwards of 2 cents. 1.9 to 2 cents is the main area. And then again, the next zone we have is right over here. Boom, on top of here, we're like 2.2 cents. And then after that, it's just mainly taking out all these key points of liquidity, right? All these key points of liquidity. So we will monitor this. Things are looking good at the moment. You know, momentum shift, right? Our first momentum shift. We'll have to see how the rest of the week carries. Guys, I love you guys so, so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.